Hey everyone. So this week, for the Q&A, we're going to be talking about constipation. I've been getting a lot of questions about that recently, not only from my clients, but a couple of you sending me some DMs wondering if there's something that you can do. A lot of people are just becoming aware that it's not normal to only go a few times a week, that ideally, optimally, we would be having a bowel movement at least once per day. So I'm going to be talking about what potential causes are of constipation and then tips to help you resolve it. Obviously, we're always going to want to work to get to the root cause, but some of these tips will help give you some more immediate relief while we work on probing what the deeper root cause is. So constipation, like I said, it's something that a lot of the women that I work with struggle with, and there are many potential causes. And it's really important to dig into the root cause. Like I always say, constipation is the symptom. Remember, it's the symptom, and that there's something that's causing it. It's important to uncover what that might be, that cause, because symptoms are just our body's way of communicating with us. So in this case, constipation is how your body is trying to communicate with you about something else that's going on. And if you simply suppress the symptom of constipation, for example, with a laxative, it's like your body sent you an urgent email that you deleted versus reading. So let's read the email. Let's figure out what's going on, what it is that your body is trying to tell you. So first, why is constipation so serious? So there are a number of consequences to not having regular bowel movements, but to help you understand why going every single day is important, let me just tell you, constipation is the enemy of detoxification. That's how your body rids itself of toxins. And if you're not going, those toxins are going to stay inside and accumulate. So all of the toxins in our blood get processed by our liver. It's our major detox organ. So everything that we put on our skin, everything that we breathe in, drink, eat, all of that, it has to get processed by the liver. And then once the toxins go through the liver detox phases 1 and 2, it's ready for phase 3. Like some people call it. Phase 3 is elimination. Yeah, so it's going to all get moved out the old crapper. So if you're struggling with constipation, your liver will have done its part. It's going to have processed those toxins and tied it up with a pretty bow, ready for elimination. But then it's just going to sit in your gut and get reabsorbed back into your bloodstream and have to go back through your liver again. So that's just increasing your toxic burden. It's increasing inflammation. It's decreasing your body's store of nutrients that it uses for detoxing and makes it less capable of detoxification over time. So pretty serious. Your ability to detox really comes down to two things: your toxic load and your ability to get rid of those toxins. Constipation throws a wrench in the whole thing. And this isn't just about toxins either. It's also about your hormones. So if you're struggling with hormone imbalances, listen to this. This is how estrogen gets detoxed, for example, and also cholesterol. So if you've been struggling with PMS or high cholesterol and you have constipation, it's likely all those things are interrelated. So why is constipation happening to you? As always, these are just top offenders in my opinion. They might not be why you have constipation. I'd have to work one-on-one with you to help point you to what might be going on in your case. But this gives you at least a really solid overview and places that you can start to look and explore. So number one, gut dysbiosis and SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. For gut dysbiosis contributing to constipation, I usually see a deficiency in the good bacterial strains. Maybe someone who's been on multiple courses of antibiotics, which just, kill everything. So I'll use, sometimes also, if it isn't just low good bacteria, sometimes I also see too high of bad pathogenic bacteria, or even parasites is actually a really common cause of constipation. So I'll usually use a stool test to evaluate what's going on in the gut and see what bacteria, what yeast, parasites, all that is there. And that's really what informs the nutrition protocol. There's a lot of nuances here, which I guess is great job security for me as a poop expert, which I sometimes feel like I am. A lot of people might think low gut diversity, low microbiome, and think I'll just take a probiotic. But unfortunately, a lot of the commercial probiotics can actually make constipation much worse, which can be really discouraging for people. So it takes a little bit of fine tuning, training to really dig into how to fix that problem. So SIBO, I talked a little bit about this a few weeks ago in another Facebook Live if you want to go back and check that one out. Basically, the small intestine should be relatively free of bacteria and sterile. When there are bacteria there, it can cause a lot of different health issues, including constipation. And I usually see constipation more with SIBO clients that test high in methane gas. So SIBO is assessed using a breath test that picks up on gases that the bacteria in the small intestine produce. So if it's SIBO, this is when people who do a low FODMAP diet experience relief from their constipation. The low FODMAP diets limit food for the bacteria to thrive. And although it's not an ideal long-term solution, you'll want to tackle it from a few different angles to resolve. But just in case you heard that a low FODMAP diet was good for constipation, that's why. It's the correlation between, potential correlation between SIBO and constipation there. Potential cause of constipation, number 2, no pun intended, can be low fiber intake as well as just not eating enough in general. So that's something that I'll get into with clients. Third is poor digestion, which can also lead to dysbiosis. So it's usually something that we'll look at in tandem because they often go hand in hand, poor digestion and gut microbiome imbalance. I'll see constipation a lot with people who have low stomach acid, especially, or history of taking stomach acid lowering medication like proton pump inhibitors or PPIs. It's interesting because when people experience frequent GERD or like acid refluxy type feelings, the typical response is to start on an acid blocker and suppress that stomach acid, but it's usually actually a sign that stomach acid is already too low, because when your stomach acid is low, your esophageal sphincter actually loosens and allows that stomach acid and gastric juices to escape into your esophagus. So, you go immediately from a bad situation to potentially a much worse one. Constipation can also be, it might not just be low stomach acid, it can also be low digestive enzymes and low or sluggish bile too. So always just looking to optimize digestion wherever possible. Fourth potential cause of constipation is low gut motility, which is just the rate that your body moves food along your digestive tract. This can tie back up to the SIBO too, since low motility can lead to SIBO, and I talk a little bit about that in that previous Facebook Live. There are a lot of things that can cause low motility, including genetics, so it's not always, something that you're doing. But more often what I see is stress and low thyroid. So chronic stress totally messes with motility. So that might be something, it's usually honestly something that a lot of my clients have to tackle because I serve women and we're all under so much stress. So just looking for ways to reduce stress. And then another common source of low gut motility, like I said, is underactive thyroid. And I just want to point out really quick that there's a whole spectrum of thyroid issues. So you don't have to be diagnosed with hypothyroid for a sluggish thyroid to be negatively impacting your gut. You can totally be within normal lab ranges, but still not be optimal. Sometimes this is referred to as subclinical hypothyroid, and I see that quite a bit in the women that I work with. Okay. The last potential source of constipation can be leaky gut and food sensitivities. So food sensitivities, remember, are just the manifestations of leaky gut. So if you have food sensitivities, they came from having leaky gut. So we need to look at how your gut be leaking in the first place. It's also useful to test for food sensitivities or do an elimination diet, because when you remove those reactive foods, you give your gut a chance to heal. So food sensitivity sort of become the symptom and another potential cause, just perpetuating that gut inflammation. All right, so those are the top potential causes of constipation that I see. So how do I help clients who are struggling with constipation? It's terrible, I mean, people need relief, and I totally get that. So while we're looking for the root cause, these are some things that I'm likely to bring up to help people out. So number one, obviously, you have to find the root cause. That's absolutely the only way. A few things that can help you get some relief though and promote gut health: adding more magnesium to your diet. If I supplement, I like using magnesium glycinate, and I usually tell people to take that in the evening. And then they, generally end up having a bowel movement in the morning. So it's great for promoting regularity. Adding more fiber to the diet. Hopefully that's through just eating a varied diet with lots of raw and cooked veggies, fruits, things like that. But, if need be, we might add a fiber supplement, possibly using something called prokinetic agents, and those help out with gut motility. There's a product called Iberogast that I really like, but ginger is actually really good too. A lot of constipation clients do better, I've noticed, when they focus on eating warm cooked foods versus raw cold foods. I think that they're just easier on digestion, and they promote cooperation out of your digestive system. So that's something that a lot of my clients like to try. Eating mindfully is going to be crucial, no matter what gut healing you're trying to accomplish, whether that's constipation, what have you. So chewing carefully, being in a low stress state when you're eating, really enjoying your food and participating in that, in some mealtime rituals. I'm going to link to my blog post about how to improve digestion, and that includes eating mindfully. And so I'll link to that in the comments so you guys can check that out. I also see that it's a good idea to sit less and to stand more, do some walking, get some things moving. Being too sedentary can really, work against you having regular bowel movements. Another thing that can really help is increasing your consumption of healthy fats like olive oil or coconut oil or MCT. I have a lot of clients who experience a lot of benefit from including MCT, either putting it on their salads or in their coffee. Just think of it as lubricating the whole process. And last, make sure that you're drinking enough water. Certainly being dehydrated can be a problem. So those are my top causes for constipation and some tips to help you fix it. As I always stress, it's so important to find the root cause. If you have any questions about the tests that I like to use for some of these things, just let me know, either comment or send me a DM. I'm happy to send you an example report of what some of these labs look like, as well as, the cost and what's involved. So I'm very transparent there. So if you have any questions, always just let me know. But yeah, that's all I have for this week. So you guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.